that I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the long way because there was no one to teach me that, no one to tell me how does it work and stuff like that. So, them saying that to me, it was like, oh yeah, I know I'm dope. Like, I'm not clueless. Like, I know I'm dope. Like, but I don't know how to do that. I know how to talk on the phone. I know how to make my $3,000 a month. So that's what I do. And that's why I'm here, just like you. The call centers is full of people just like me, creatives and just like gifted people. But that the money that you make there covers you. You know what I mean? It kind of keeps you complacent. And I think that's why call centers is full of creatives. And so, that's why I was there. They asked me why are you here? Like, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. That's why I'm here. I'm not gonna lie, sales had me in its grips for the last 15 years on and off, honestly. Since '08, between '08 and like now, 2023, I just been in and out of sales jobs. And, it makes a lot of sense because, it's the place where I would be able to get the best compensation for my time. You know what I mean? So it is in my skill set to do sales. I'm personable. I know how to sell. I know how to create value or to share the value of the thing, So, sales just was thrust upon me, honestly. When I started working, my first job was in Macy's, and Macy's put me in sales. They put me in selling shoes based on the interview that I did. So I guess, they saw me as a salesperson. So that's where I was put, and that's where I was ever since, pretty much. The promise of higher pay that I could expect is what kept me in sales. I have to that's what kept me in sales, because I can make my $3,000 a month, more or less, and I could pay my bills, and I could be able to invest in my art. So, not too shabby, right? But, the downside is the nature of sales is very, very, very repetitive, especially, in my later years doing sales. I was on the phone a lot, so there was certain word tracks that you have to use, and sometimes a little scripting and things like that. So it becomes very monotonous and very mind-numbingly boring. So, you do have to move around and leverage the old jobs that you've done to find something better, But, one thing that I consistently made sure that I kept in my world was, my creativity. That's what kept my brain alive when I'm doing all these mundane, repetitive tasks, or having these repetitive conversations all day, every day for months and months and months, is to be creative, keep drawing, painting, doodling, writing at my desk, So eventually my cubicle, wherever I'm working, it always turns into a gallery of some sort. And you have the meandering, bored coworkers of mine. They walk around the floor, find me at my desk, and they just admire my work. They're looking at this and that. They're like, oh wow, like, you're so good at this, and so, what are you doing here? It's like, oh god, like, I've heard this so many times. Like, what do you mean? What do you think I'm doing here? I need to pay bills. Bills need to be paid, and like, it's difficult because the thing is that people always tell you like that art can't make money. Like, you're not gonna be able to support yourself if you're doing art, which is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's because they're deliberately not teaching us how to make something that comes from you become something that can be sold. There is a gap there that needs to, like, there's a monetization gap. There's steps that you have to take. There's branding, there's marketing, there's actually distribution. You got to set up systems in order to get from the raw material, right, to the finished product. And it's the same thing like a crop, any kind of crop. Your art is just like a crop. You have to refine it, you have to package it, and you have to find a customers for it. You have to find a place, like a marketplace for it. So all of those steps is stuff that I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the long way because there was no one to teach me that, no one to tell me how does it work and stuff like that. So, you know, them saying that to me, it was like, oh yeah, I know I'm dope. Like, I'm not clueless. Like, I know I'm dope. Like, but how do I don't know how to do that. I know how to talk on the phone. I know how to make my $3,000 a month. So that's what I do. And that's why I'm here, just like you. You know, the call centers is full of people just like me, creatives and just like gifted people, but that the money that you make there covers you. You know what I mean? It kind of keeps you complacent. And I think that's why call centers is full of creatives. That's my idea of it, because look at the amount of creatives that I found in the call centers. Martin Lawrence was in the call centers. Kid and Play were in the call centers. Salt and Pepper were in the call centers. It's like, bro, there's something about them call centers. But honestly, I just feel like, you know what I mean? At the time, I didn't know how it worked, and I had bills to pay. I had responsibilities. As time went on, you know, when I didn't have responsibilities, I quit that shit. You know what I mean? But once you have responsibilities, you gotta stay. You gotta save up your money and things like that. And so, you know, that's why I was there. You know, they asked me why are you here? Like, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. That's why I'm here. But yeah, like over time, I started figuring it out step by step, like bit by bit. I figured out how it works. How do you get this raw material, art, creativity, and make it sellable, a sellable thing? You know, it really took step by step, and I had to learn, literally, like I said, the hard way, one thing at a time. I learned about branding. I learned most of the branding stuff from working with Francis and helping him with his events and helping him with a project called Downtown Mayhem, which is like a mixtape project that he did. Really, really dope project. Like, he's before his time with that. Honestly, it was really, really amazing what he did with that project. And so I was involved in the creative direction of that project. So that taught me so much about branding and how to, you know, create a finished project, and how these group projects come together and things like that. And you know, from there I had to learn more about the mindset part of it, like what it takes to be responsible completely for your project and the things that you're doing, and build an actual business. So I actually took on a couple of coaches in some time. What I had, you know, when I was getting him more help with my daughter, I had more free time. So I took on a coach. First coach that I took on was Naima Singletary, who is like a really root-centered, like sacral-centered, like womb-centered type of coach. You know what I mean? A real woo-woo coach who teaches a lot about, you know, more esoteric type of approach to what is it you're trying to do here, and understanding where you're at psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and where you need to go, what kinds of blockages you might be having, why, you know what I mean? what are these things. So she dug deep. She dug deep into stuff that, you know, maybe other people probably wouldn't. So it was a great first coach for me. I have no complaints. It was a great experience to learn from her, or be in that group setting where I could hear other people's stories and things like that. I do recommend coaching, honestly, because it will, things that you don't have access to, things that you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. So it is important to like getting tutelage from people that are touching the heights that you have not yet touched, you know, that are reaching levels that you haven't reached yet, touching money that you haven't touched yet. You understand? So getting a coach is really important if you are trying to do something you've never done. So that was really important to me. Then after that, I felt like I needed to understand monetization. So I went into a group coaching, literally a huge ass group coaching. There were hundreds of people, like hundreds of people in that class, but you felt like you were seen by the coach. The coach was named Darnell Whittingham, and the class was called, the group coaching course, it was called Monetize Everything, right? That's fantastic. Literally a fantastic, I think it was like a 7-week course, you know? And I invested in that 7-week course, and that blew my mind. That taught me, okay, literally everything that I know how to do is monetizable in this new world that we have, this digital world, the internet. It has the ability to let you monetize literally anything that you can do well, right? So that's what I started focusing on. I learned how to systemize what is it I'm doing. I learned about how to find platforms where the people that I want to connect with are going to be. Like that simple. Like, even just to go back to Naima, I never even had a PayPal account because I was too hung up on the minutia of what it takes to actually sign up for the PayPal. So how do you expect to be paid if you don't have a payment portal? You have to have a payment portal. And it's like, if I didn't do that course, maybe I would have never have done it, and maybe I wouldn't be getting money online. You know what I mean? Or maybe it would have took me way longer. So these coaches, they teach you what you maybe are too stubborn to accept, or what you didn't know already. That process really took me years. It really took me, I say it took me until like 2019 to really get it together, as far as my offering, what it is that my greatest value, what things I want to keep to be just hobbies, and what things I want to monetize, how exactly I want to do that. I learned more about the online marketplace, different venues for sales. So doing actual, digital marketing and going live and, engaging people in that way. I learned a lot about, what is I need to do. So by the time I got to 2019, I was ready to go. Like, I was ready to go out of the gates, man. 2019, I was ready to come out of the gates. I was confident and I was ready to go. I knew what my offer could be. I studied and I communicated with the local community. I did a lot of like market research, and I found that there's a lot of people that needed my expertise when it came to marketing and sales on the internet. So converting what is it they do on the high street and, actually setting up systems online so that they can provide value online for whatever it is that they do. So by the time 2000 and by 2019, I had my first client and I was ready to go. Like, I was creating content for him. We were getting ready to go out the gates, and suddenly the pandemic hits. And you know what's crazy about that is I didn't even know the pandemic hit. I was still trying to conduct business normally. And one day I went there and I was shaking hands, and everyone was kind of scared to shake hands, and I didn't get it. I remember not getting it, like not understanding until I actually, you know, saw the news and stuff like that, and became clear, like, okay, something significant is happening here right now, and it's gonna interfere with what I'm doing. And that was unfortunate. You know, a lot of things happened. So, you know, I didn't even tell you. So before that, I was working in a sales job. My penultimate sales job, I should say. I was working for the phone company, same phone company I was working for in 2008. Started working for them again in 2018, 10 years later. So 2018, I was working for the telephone company. And, you know, by 2019, early 2019, we were all let go. So we were all let go by the time the pandemic hit. I was unemployed, bro. And I was trying to launch this business. And I got my first client. And suddenly the world shut down. And it was like, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. And it was serious because it kept going. It didn't end. So at some point it started to dawn on me that, you know, it could be that you are not going to be able to pay the rent here. Like, if unemployment ends and you don't have a new job, you're going to be in a big problem. And not only that, this relationship that you're in right now ain't working. This is a bunch of stress. You know what I mean? It was an immense amount of stress. I cannot even explain it. An immense amount of stress that I was experiencing at that time. And the only solution that I had that I could do is to go home. Like, I had to go back to my mommy. Like, I had to go to my mom because, you know, number one, she was scared. And she wanted me to be safe, you know what I mean? So it was like a lot of that. And, you know, and I had a lot of instability. I wasn't sure what was going on personally as well. So, you know, I ended up escaping that situation. I left New York and went back to London. And I've been here ever since. I'm in London now. So, you know, it's been 4 years now. It's 2024. So since 2020, I've been here in London, and, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. It definitely was a great move for me as far as emotionally and spiritually. Like, you know, it definitely was a huge upheaval, a big unfortunate circumstance when it comes to, you know, relationships, people that I know, people that are important to myself and my daughter, family. You know what I mean? It really is unfortunate that the place is so far, but it just is what it is. It is the only way that I was able to stabilize myself in that situation. That's the only way I could see that everything would be okay, and to calm myself. You know what I mean? So just is what it is what I decided to do, for better or for worse. But I feel that it was a good move for me, even now to this day, because the level of peace that I was able to find when I could clear my mind and be isolated in that way and just be removed from that situation, it just really was priceless. I feel like a happier person. I put on weight. I feel like I can get back on the ball, and I'm back on the ball. You understand? I'm back re-engaging with who I was before all of that happened. And it feels great. So like I said, in 2020, I had launched the book. The book was out. And You know, by 2021, I start promoting it. Little light promotion online, you know. Can't really go out and do stuff because the world is still shut down. Even here, it's a lot calmer here. They're not dramatic. Sorry to say, some people think that it's normal to be that dramatic as they were, but honestly, everything was a lot more chill over here, even though they did get a bit extreme at some points. But it was much more relaxed over here, but not to the point where I was able to, you know, connect with the business owners that I wanted to do and things like that. But what I did find when I did get out there is that the business owners are different over here than they are in America. In America, the business owners are willing to spend money to potentially make money. They understand the value of online commerce more than they do over here. Over here it's a lot about, you know, status quo, doing things as they always have. So I found it difficult to kind of engage with them with the business model that I was using in New York, because it's a totally different customer base. And it honestly, at a point it became not worth my time. Maybe I'll revisit that. I'm not sure. If I meet some business owners that have the right mindset to be able to take on the information and actually make use of ways I'm offering, then I will. But for now, I'm going to be concentrating on my projects, particularly my authorship journey, and seeing where I can go with it, you know what I mean? So the fact that I was able to sell a few copies of this book that I made from my mind, from boredom doodles at my desks, just developed into this like actual children's book that looks good. This literally is a great product, you understand, that people actually like. And not only that, I was able to enhance it with the rest of my skills, like all my skills into one project. My writing skills, my drawing skills, my branding skills, technical skills, and then I created a song to go along with the project. So singing and, you know, composing, I guess. So, you know, it's just like something to actually be representative of me as a creative. I'm in love with my project, Lionel the Lion. Do check it out if you get a chance. Online, if you Google Angelina Lionel the Lion, you should see it. The fact that I could do that teaches me that, you know, I can duplicate that. You know what I mean? I was able to get sales on that book. Future titles can have the same response, and I'm able to develop that into like a business of its own, like a whole sort of experience that could be built off of that. So yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate Dorisa for making that suggestion, because she really had something with that. She ate with that one, that little one, that one there. She ate with that. I hope I'm making her proud with her suggestion. With that said, I'm really grateful to have like a great living being carved out for me, using my God-given gifts and the skills that I've learned throughout my life to, you know, create something that is representative of me. With that being said, this year 2024 is all about collaboration, fearless experimentation, and actualization. I want to close out this video with, what ways do you think your day job actually motivates you towards your goals? Leave me a comment, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.